signs do you look for? Or C, to tell if a guy is trustworthy? Now, this question is so much bigger than we might think. And I've been encountering this since I first started studying men in 1991. And if I were just going to cut to the chase, I would say, like, if you were my daughter, if you were my dearest friend, if you were my son, I would say whenever you use the word trust or trustworthy, or if ever the word is applied to you by somebody else, always use it in conjunction with for. Trusted for what? Trustworthy for what? And the reason why I say that is because when I started studying men, I didn't trust men. But I didn't know that what had me not trust men is how many times they surprised me in a bad way, like really in a bad way. And how come they surprised me was because, and just like take a deep breath if you know you have trust stuff going on, is because, and it took me years to see this, I wanted to trust men to do what I would do. I wanted to trust men. I thought I should be able to trust men to do the right thing. Well, that sounds reasonable, but I didn't know that what I thought was the right thing is what I would do, or what a woman like me would do in that situation. And so my conclusion that men were not trustworthy, if I'd finished the sentence back then, I would have said men aren't trustworthy for behaving like women. Now, that could come as very, very bad news. Oh my God, I'm right. You can't trust these people, right? Or it could have you get curious. Wait a second, right? If you've known me for any length of time, I use words rigorously. So wait a second, they're not trustworthy for behaving like women. So that's terrible? No. It could open up, well, then what are they trustworthy for? And you could describe our Understanding Men online course, which originated in 1995 as celebrating men, satisfying women, as everything I found out, or not even everything, because there's too many things. The main things I found out that men are trustworthy for. And when you know what men are trustworthy for, it's so awesome, because the things they're trustworthy for, they're actually really interesting and really cool. And then you can work with them. So I'm going to give you an up to the minute example, right? So some of you know about Dan, my boyfriend, right? Greg passed away almost 3 years ago. And Dan and I have been together for, I don't know, 1.5 years and some change. And he was really bummed. Today, he came over to see me and he was really bummed because he'd been golfing with his son and one of his son's best friends and his daughter. And he said they were, was the word they used? I don't remember what the word was, but they were making fun of him. They were making fun of him in this golf game. They were like razzing him. Trey and Max were razzing him about the putt, the drive, the whatever was going on, and about the fact that they were winning, and and then when they did win, and they were like, they were giving him a really hard time, and he's like, my feelings are hurt. We don't think of men as having grown men as having hurt feelings, and we don't consider that they would have hurt feelings over a game, right? But his feelings were hurt. And and so I had a conversation with him about, okay, first of all, why were they razzing you, right? Guys compete. Guys are trustworthy to compete, to be competing. When? How about all the time? What if all the time you can trust men to be competitive and to be competing? And so these young men are competing against Dan. Dan's been golfing for umpteen years, and they were teasing him about that they were winning and he was losing. And then I started talking to him about it. I said, you know what? One of the first things I learned about men is if you think a man is not trying to win, you've misidentified the game he's playing. And I've seen Dan play golf. I mean, oh my gosh, his drives are things of beauty. Like, what? And my stepdad was a coach on the LPGA, right? So I'm not like clueless about golf. And I started talking to him about, even the way they keep score, the way he proposes that they keep score gives these young men a chance to win, gives his daughter a chance to win, right? I'm like, you've rigged this. You've rigged this because you're not playing high score. You would do this very differently if you were playing golf as most people know it. You're playing a different game. You're playing have your family have fun playing golf. And he's like, you're right. And they were. Just wish it wasn't at my expense. Like, well, they're competing with you because you're the one to beat. You're the one they admire. Oh. And it just, like, it changed his whole perspective. He could see that he set this whole thing up so that these young people can win, so that they can fall in love with golf, so that they can have fun, so that he can have this time with them. And he won that game. He won the game. He was actually playing. I said, yeah, I know when you actually want to win at golf, you're going to win at golf. So, oh, you're right. So this is just an example of something that men are trustworthy for. And if you know it, if you know they're competing, and if you start to catch on that they're competing to win with you, they want to know how to win your points. How do they win at the game that is you? And that a part of being competitive is if you can't win, don't play. And men are constantly defining and redefining the game so they can win. If I just win one hole out of 9, then that'll be great, right? They define it so they can win. And men give up when we convince them there's nothing they can do to win with us. And unfortunately, because women change their behavior through criticism has us change and try harder. We think criticizing a man will have him try harder. No. One of the first lessons I learned about men is men move from win to win. And thinking they can win, seeing that they've won, has them take on bigger and bigger and bigger games. If they win with you at dating, if they have space for it, they think they can win with you being their girlfriend, they can win with you. They want to do this for the rest of their life. They can win with you at marriage. That's when they commit, is when they think they can win at it. Not when we demand that they do it. So this was just like a couple examples in this domain of trustworthy. What signs you look for or see to tell if a man is trustworthy. Trustworthy for what? So this is one of those questions where you got to sit down with yourself. What do you want to be able to trust a man for? Not only that, what do you need to be able to trust him for in order to actually be yourself, in order to relax into you being real with him? Women are no more real than men are. In fact, instinctually, we conceal just as much and we false advertise just as much. We present what we think will be acceptable and attractive just as much, if not more, because of our instincts, not because we're bad or we have low self-esteem. So what do you need a man to be trustworthy for? What do you need to be able to count on him to generate? So, for example, one of the things that I love about Dan is that when I'm upset, he comes and finds me. Most men will leave you alone because that's what they want when they're upset. Dan knows that's not what I need unless I close the door. Then I'm protecting him from me. But if I haven't closed the door, him coming and finding me is something I trust him for. And it's something he said he will always do. And that I can trust him for that allows us to get into stuff that's gnarly and solve gnarly problems. Because even if I'm really upset, he'll come looking for me, right? He'll show up and say, do you need to hug it out? And even if I say, no, I'm not ready yet. Do you want to talk? Do you want me to leave you alone? But he'll come and check with me. He's trustworthy to check with me. What do I need? Even when I'm upset at him, right? Even when I'm mad at him, he'll come and check on me. That's something he's trustworthy for. And it means the world to me. So this is the thing. How do you tell if a man is trustworthy? By his actions. Do his actions match his words? Is he consistent? But you got to figure out what you need him to be trustworthy for. And can a man even be trustworthy for that? And men cannot be trustworthy to act like women. It's one of the most important things to confront. And it's not bad. It's really not bad.